when you speak. Try to look at me and not so much the camera.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
got you.
yeah, yeah.
10
So hold
4.
on, let me get a sound check for you.
All
Can you give
right.
me a sound check real quick?
1, 2.
Oh, we good, we good, we
Good.
good. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, all right, let's get it, man.
10 4.
So we are here with another Creative Moments interview. I just want to let y'all know right now, this is gonna be one of my favorite interviews already. Let me make y'all jealous real quick. Got him to sign my copy of Madden right
Yeah,
there.
that's crazy.
You see that? You see that? We have Hilliard football legend, JUCO football legend,
Yes,
college
sir.
football legend, NFL second round draft pick, one of the best players for the Dolphins in my opinion.
Hey, I
Daniel
appreciate
Thomas,
it.
how you feeling today,
Man,
my man?
I appreciate it. I'm feeling blessed. Happy to be here. I appreciate you for having me.
Man, we so happy to have you here, man. And we just gonna get right into it, my brother.
Yes, sir.
What was early life like for you, man?
Early life for me, man, I grew up in a home where my father was a pastor. You know what I mean? I grew up in a church environment. You know, I had 4 older brothers and an older sister. They were all involved with athletics. So, you know, that alone, I had structure, you know, inside the house, you know what I mean? And for my brother and my sisters, you know, my brothers were in athletics, so I was able to watch them coming up and compete on a high school level. So, okay.
Take your phone off. I'm telling you, bro.
It's all good.
Look, you got the little bell right there with the thing.
Boy, that
So we
sound
still
like
on.
my mom don't care. I still got them house phones, boy.
Gotta have the
Got
business
to
phone.
have them, boy. For sure.
Well, I'm sorry about that,
Nah,
man.
I ain't
Continue.
tripping. So, I mean, just growing up in a house where, you know, having a dad as a pastor, you know what I mean, having him there used to go, you know, be there for you when, you know, times are getting hard, and just to have that guideline there for you, that was important for me because a lot of kids in my area, they didn't have that father figure in that household. So that was the real difference for me, you know, just having structure and having older brothers that played ball, and, you know, that was a motivating factor for me, you know what I mean?
Gotcha. So, where did you grow up, man?
Hilliard, Florida. A town where we had one red light. You know what I mean? The biggest store is Winn-Dixie. Then eventually we got a Wendy's and all that good stuff. But you know, it's a town where everybody knows everyone. You know what I mean? So if you're an athletic person or you're involved with sports or whatever, everybody knows about you. So you know, from an early age, you know, playing part one and everything, you know, I was pretty much a household name along with some of my friends that I grew up with. So small town, great place to grow up, raise your kids, and all that good stuff. But you know, we kind of fly under the radar when it comes to recognition, and you know, that was the toughest hurdle, you know, we faced in Hilliard.
So, do you think coming from such a small town, do you think that helped you in how you prepared for playing or how you
Right.
came up?
Yeah, for me, it was we were kind of sheltered. You know what I mean? There wasn't a lot going on, so you know, when I got to college and everything, I was kind of shell shocked just being outside of, you know, the environment that I grew up in Hilliard, you know, because it was small. You know, we knew everybody, and going into the big towns in Mississippi and Kansas and Miami, you know what I mean? Eventually, I got used to it and everything. But being in Hilliard and playing sports, you know, they look at you a certain way. They look like you're lesser, you know what I mean? You don't have the real talent as the other schools and other communities. But you know, when I got to Kansas State, you know, I was like, man, I got like 5 homeboys I can bring up here right now, and they can start. You know what I mean? But it's like we're overlooked. You know what I mean? And it's only a certain amount of players that make it out of there. You look at Derrick Henry, you look at myself, and a few other players. But man, there were guys way before us that came through, but we didn't have that. It's not a hot spot. You know what I mean? So that's, you know, why I want to kind of shed a light on, you know, the school and the community.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. So, we was looking up some of your high school stats and how it went
Yeah,
in high school. I saw that you played a whole lot of quarterback, man.
for
How
sure.
did that go for you,
Yeah,
the transition?
yeah. So I mean, I was a pretty, you know, natural athlete, you know what I mean? And my coach at the time, Coach Whitmer, God rest his soul, who passed earlier this year, He was a great coach for us and a legend in our community. He's told me straight up, like, I'm gonna put my best athlete at quarterback. I had never played quarterback, but threw the ball a little bit here and there. Before that, I was a running back and wide receiver. So, he just told me straight up, he's gonna put his best athlete at quarterback, and the rest is really history. It really opened up my ability to make plays, and that's how I kind of got on the radar, with schools and everything. So, you know, that was a big move, and it ended up, being beneficial for me in the long run.
So, what kind of workout regimen were you on in high school to produce like you're producing?
Yeah, so man, it's crazy. Cause now you don't see a lot of kids outside. We were outside all day playing football. You know what I mean? That was really our thing, and I would watch guys play on TV. I watch college and NFL and all that good stuff, and I go outside and mimic, those movements in those games, and try to get like a 5-on-5 game. So really, just being outside and just being a kid and being active, that really, tighten up my skills. And then at the same time, once I got older, a guy named Myron Saunders, he got me in the weight room at the time when I was maybe in 10th grade. And, he worked on my explosiveness and, my quickness and all that good stuff in the weight room especially. And I think that was something that took my game to the next level as well. I was already pretty athletic, but, just getting in the weight room, and he introduced me to the weight room, and I think that's where my game took off.
Okay. So, what was high school looking like for you academically?
Academically, man, it was a struggle for me. Just to keep it real, because it was just athletics. You know what I mean? It wasn't that I was not intelligent or I couldn't pick up things. It was just a lack of effort. You know what I mean? And focus and dedication. You know what I mean? I just put academics on the back burner. It was always like that. That's how I ended up going to JUCO. Even when I got to JUCO, it was still the bottom on the list. You know what I mean? I'm racking up offers from Oklahoma, Louisville, Kansas, all these schools, but I'm not putting in the effort, with academics. And, it wasn't until, I got older and I started growing and, experiencing life and, just life is your greatest teacher, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of, found my way when it came to, just that. But early on in high school, man, it was a struggle, you know what I mean? Because I didn't really put in the effort and the time to do it. And, it ended up biting me in the butt, at the end of the day, having to go to JUCO. But in the end, JUCO really was a beneficial thing for me to do.
So, before we get to JUCO, before we graduate college, graduate high school, when did college coaches start reaching out to you?
So really, school saw me playing the playoffs against who was it? Port St. Joe. We ended up losing like the second round, and they ended up winning the state championship that year. So they saw me playing, and they reached out to a JUCO. You know what I mean? And JUCO in Mississippi, and really, because my grades weren't there, you know what I mean? And JUCO was an unfamiliar territory. I didn't know anything about JUCO. All I knew was Florida, Florida State, Miami, all these other schools, you know what I mean? So JUCO wasn't something that, I was looking to get into. But, I did my research. Upon me taking a visit there, I did my research and I saw where guys were getting recruited, you know what I mean? And they're coming from all these D1 schools. So I'm like, man, this might be, a good idea for me. But it wasn't until I got to JUCO where I really started getting on that recruiting radar.
So there were no schools coming to see you in college, see you in high school?
Not in high school. I got some interest, but my grades were the biggest thing, and the ACT and all that, you know what I mean? So it was like, probably not going to make that score, Some of my teammates were getting recruited. Urban Meyer came to our school to see one of my best friends, Ralph Bolden, who his son is, someone who I coach now on my team. He came to see him personally, you know what I mean? And I was like, dang, you know what I mean? Come check me out, you know what I mean? I got good film too, but, the academics weren't there. But and then, he doubled back around to Mississippi when I got to JUCO, and tried to recruit me. But, I ended up taking a different path, but yeah, that's really how that worked out.
So, what's that feeling like after putting all the work in high school and ended up having to go to JUCO?
Yeah, it was. So I was hungry, man. Once I did my research and I saw that guys was going D1, I was like, man, like this guy coming from Florida, Oklahoma State, Georgia, Georgia Tech, all this stuff. I'm like, man, this might be a good move for me. So, and I was telling everybody when I get done, I'm going to Florida. You know what I mean? That's a goal. And everybody look at me like, you ain't doing that. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't gonna do this. And bro, it was so crazy because I was writing all that stuff down in my little book. I had a little notebook. You know what I mean? I'm just because I was like a guy who understood the power of just like writing stuff out, and I'm a big visualizer, bro. I had dreams of me making it. You know what I mean? So truth be told, bro, I always knew that I was gonna make it. Um, just didn't know how it was gonna happen, but I was locked in once I left and got to JUCO, and I got around a bunch of D1 guys. Leaving Hilliard and going there is completely different. There's straight D1 guys there. You know what I mean? And we had guys get drafted from that JUCO team. Like they end up going to make NFL teams, and I'm competing with them. In practice. So that let me know that I was on the right track. You know what I mean? So.
Perfect. So, what advice would you have for a kid in the same situation that you were in coming out of high school?
Yeah, I would say, for number one, man, lock down on your academics because at the end of the day, football is like a vapor, man. It's gonna come, it's gonna go, and it's not guaranteed. So, education and your academics, man, that's the most important thing, man. But, there is a lot of opportunities out there for you when it comes to athletics. But sometimes it don't fall on you. You can do everything right. You know what I mean? And then you get to somewhere it's a coach may feel like you don't fit what their program is looking for or something. He might not just like you, you know what I mean? Everybody else can like you, but just one guy on that staff he may not like you and you stuck. So, I would say just man have a plan A, plan B, and plan C. You know what I mean? And really think it out and figure out what you want to get into and not just football but you know football is great though. I mean, what other job can you do making millions of dollars, especially right now with these NIL deals with these high school kids, man. Some of these kids are 3 years away from making 6 figures, you know what I mean? So I would say just be on top of your game, on and off the field, and really just work, man, because there's so many opportunities out there for you, you know what I mean? And just sell yourself, you know what I mean? Your persona and everything, because that sells now. It's the game is different now, it's migrating towards, selling yourself, who can sell yourself the most, you know what I mean? So.
So, after graduating, what JUCO did you go to?
I went to Northwest Mississippi Community College in Senatobia, Mississippi. And it was crazy, man. It was a dry county. It was a little bit racist. There's a lot of stories, man. That my last day there, I'm getting ready to go to Kansas State. Me and my buddy, we on the field doing some sprints. Now we on this little highway or on this field, and it's a highway, right there by you. And we running, and all you can hear is these guys on the pickup truck. Run, you black, you know what I'm saying? You black nigga, you know what I mean? I'm like, what? This is my last day. Last day there, and that happened. But, but I met some amazing people and teammates who I still, keep in contact with. But
So, what was your mindset going into camp at JUCO? What were the conditions like?
man, it was tough. JUCO was the toughest grind I had. First of all, it's like you in jail, man. At that time, like 2006, 2007, you know what I mean? The dorms were not up to par, you know what I mean? Mississippi is like one of the worst educational systems out there, first of all. But, it was a poor town, man. And, guys getting shot on campus, some of my teammates getting killed, you know what I mean? Guys who I had real relationships with. And just from a football perspective, man, it was tough. I had a coach, Randy Pippen, who, I just saw not too long ago. He came to Hilliard to check me out or whatever. He pushed us to the limit, and he really took our game to the next level, and he promoted us the right way. He, wasn't a coach that held you back. He wanted you to go to the next level. Like, he would contact coaches for you. He'd bring you in when they come in, and it was a grind, man. JUCO was a grind. At the time, you were only allowed 8 out-of-state players. They bringing in 30 guys from all over, 40 guys, and there's 50, 60 guys on the team. And you're fighting for one spot out of 8. You know what I mean? So they bring guys in from Alabama and at the time, you know, I didn't really sign. I had to pay my own money. They invited me to come work out and they invited me back for the summer. But I had to grind through that. You know what I mean? And fortunately, guys were Xing themselves out by smoking weed and getting kicked out and just doing little stuff like that and opened up a door for me. So that's how I was able to stick, you know, along with my play. And it was just a grind, man. It was competition was crazy. You know what I mean? Because we had guys go to the NFL from that team. So me seeing that and you know going against that top notch talent, you know, prepared me to go to K State. Because when I got to K State, there was more talent in Mississippi than in K State, and that's a D1 school. But you know, there's a lot of underlying factors. Guys don't have the grades. You know, they got behavior issues or whatever the case may be. So
was the competition at JUCO what made you switch from playing QB and a full-time running back?
So man, it was crazy because they wanted me to play safety too. They were literally like fighting to see what I was gonna play. So I came in as a quarterback. So I played quarterback and they switched me in between quarterback and running back. And you know, coach is just like, man, I'm just gonna, you know, just like let you rock out at quarterback. So you know, I never really got the chance to have like a full season playing running back, but you know, schools will recruit me as a quarterback, running back, safety. You know, I ended up going to K State as a quarterback. You know, but for the first, like a week before the first game, they moved me to running back. You know what I mean? That was a wrap from there.
Makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you were a 4-star coming out of JUCO and no star coming out of high school, right?
Right.
So what are the steps and what's the regimen you were on to be able to make that transition?
Right. So it came down to the realm of where I was playing. The Mississippi JUCOs were very respected. You know what I mean? They got a lot of D1 guys coming in and out, and it's a great league with like 12 teams, and they're all competing. They're all competitive. There are many D1 guys there compared to Hilliard. You know what I mean? We're like I said, we're like under the radar. You know, we didn't really have that respect, but you know, from going to Hilliard to Mississippi, you know, where it's established and every year there's guys going D1. You know what I mean? So that was the biggest thing, and I knew that. And I had guys before I got there. I'm looking at the guys that's on rivals. I'm like, all right, so this is what I got to, you know what I mean? This is what I'm working with. This is what I got to do. I got to go after these guys. I got to do this. I'm in the right place. I just got to ball out, and I get that respect. So that was my whole thing. I'm like, all right, all I gotta do is ball out. You know, it's not like I'm in Hilliard where, you know, if I ball out, I'm not gonna be recognized. Like I'm in the right spot. So I knew that and I took advantage of it. You know what I mean? I was trying to kill out there. You know what I mean? I was like, I want to be one of the top players in Mississippi. Like that was my dream. Like I used to be on rivals all day in high school, playing against guys I'm knowing better than. I'm like, how are these guys 4 stars and guys from folks? I'm like, bro, I'm just as good as them. You know what I mean? But they getting all the recognition. So man, that like, you know, struck a fire under me. You know what I mean? I was writing stuff down. You know what I mean? I was visualizing myself, you know, having, you know, 4 stars and, you know what I mean? Just being one of the top players. And when it happened, I'm like, it was crazy, man. It was a crazy feeling.
So you think location is just as important
No doubt.
in high school as it is in JUCO?
No doubt, because, you know, some of these towns, man, you in hitting towns and, you know, a lot of coaches don't really respect the competition you playing against, you know what I mean? And they look at it as lesser, you know, players and everything. So being there, you know, it's like guys come out every year. You know, you got guys going D1 every year as compared to going to Hilliard. You know, we don't have anybody coming out of there, but we got just as good as players as everybody else. But it's a respect thing that I don't really understand. So that was the toughest thing for me.
So back then, when you transferred into a D1 program at Kansas State, y'all had to sit out a year, right? Still, right?
No, we just rolled right into it.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd y'all end up?
Yeah.
Right into it?
So I'm not really familiar with that rule, but I know for me. So for me, look, I end up originally I was a part of the 2008 class, but I ended up screwing around in class with a college algebra course that I couldn't pass. I couldn't get any help, and I had the tutors in Mississippi or nothing. So I ended up having to sit out a whole year. and stay in Mississippi. And then it wasn't until the next year that I went to K-State. You know what I mean? So they really just hung in there for me when a lot of other schools would have probably pulled that scholarship. You know what I mean? So I was just on campus, just taking one class. You know what I mean? And I had to transfer that next year. So yeah, you know, it all worked out. It wasn't like a rule, but I ended up having to sit out a year anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay. So once you transfer in and get into K-State, what was your mindset like?
oh man, I'm going to the league. That's all I was thinking about, man. I was daydreaming, bro. That's all I was doing, and that's how I knew, like yo, thoughts so powerful. Like you know what I mean? Like just thinking about it and really having faith in the process. Like it's real, and like I'll be walking to class, visualizing myself, making plays at K State, having my brothers there watching me play, and you know, next thing you know, I look around and it's really happening. You know what I mean? But my whole thing was, bro, I'm doing 1 year and I'm going to the league. You know what I mean? That was my goal because there was so much talk going on that really motivated me, you know. And, you know, you're not supposed to listen to the talk, but you hear it, you know, especially when it comes from home. It's like, he not going to make it. You know, he don't have this, he don't do that. But you hear all that, and I use that as motivation, you know, and just being at D1 playing for a legendary coach like Coach Snyder, somebody who believed in you, you know what I mean? He took me on his wing, and I said, I got to make it, you know?
Yeah, I see you were focused, man. We looked
Yeah.
up the stats, man. So you touched down
Yeah.
1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns,
Right.
and you even threw a couple.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Sure, man. It was crazy because a lot of people like, man, just put him at quarterback, you know? And I went there as a quarterback, but I was like, bro, I'm not going to go to the league playing quarterback. I'm 6 foot, you know what I mean? I don't really throw like that. So they had me, Coach Snyder had me in his office showing me how to throw the ball, breaking down everything. I'm like, bro, I'm not a quarterback. So I'm out there on 7-on-7 on the field. You know, the coaches upstairs watching. Man, I'm throwing the ball in the ground. You know what I mean? I'm like, bro, I ain't no quarterback. You know, I can make these throws, but I'm trying to go to the league. You know what I mean? And they ended up switching me before the first game. And I was like, yeah, bro. It's like, I ain't no quarterback, but they had little wildcat packages in there for me. I still throw. And, you know, I worked out with the quarterbacks in practice too. So, you know, it was an experience though, man. It's something I'll never forget.
Yeah, man. You was the guy when they had
Yeah.
the big Colin Klein era.
Yeah, for
Kansas
sure.
State, man, that's all you was hearing on ESPN.
Yeah,
for a
man,
while.
and Colin, he came in as a well, he was a wide receiver. Well, they switched him back and forth, man. But you know, he's the offensive coordinator there now. He doing it big there now. So
That's dope, man. So you jumped from 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns, to 1,500 yards
right,
and 19 touchdowns, almost double
yeah,
what you had in touchdowns. What was the difference between those 2 years?
yeah, man. I'll just say my mindset, honest, because it was crazy. I came back home after my junior year, and you know, I was meeting with agents and everything. They coming to Jacksonville to meet with me in my uncle's house and all that. So I'm like, dang, bro, like I can get drafted this year. I might not go in the first, you know, few rounds, but you know, it can happen. Guys throwing money at me, all this good stuff. So I knew I was on track, but you know, I feel like I had to get better. You know what I mean? I feel like another year, you know what I mean, would do me some, you know, do me better. So I was just locked in, man. I wanted it, bro. I wanted it so bad, man, because it was a journey, man. Just struggling academically and being at Hilliard, it felt like, you know, it was overlooked, and you know, I was like, man, these players not better than me. You know what I mean? So I was like, nah, my chance. I just got to build on this momentum and just keep getting better. You know what I mean? And it was a great culture, man. The culture there it was legit. You know what I'm saying? The coaches, they care about you. You know what I mean? They prepared you for the next level just from just how things were structured and everything. And it was professional, and that's the thing I got out of that. And you know,
So it's right after your junior year when you played like that. Was that when pro scouts started reaching out to you?
yeah. So they were hitting me up during the season. You know what I mean? I remember I had a game against UCLA, and like Mel Kiper was talking about me and all that good stuff, and people were sending me like links of it. I wasn't trying to pay attention. I'm like, dang, like, I'm really like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? I'm on Mel Kiper because I grew up watching Mel Kiper on draft day and breaking down his draft predictions and thoughts and all that. So I'm like, dang, bro, like I'm really, you know, in that state. You know what I mean? Like I'm in that on that level. So and it got easier and easier, and then I just felt like I was super close. So I just wanted to go even harder, man.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. So, did you get an invite to the combine, right?
I did.
Tell me about it,
Yeah.
man. Please tell me about the combine.
Man, that combine experience, it was draining. For me, I didn't work out because I had a bad hammy. So I just went through, the interview process, meeting with teams and all that good stuff, and just doing the one-to-lick test and all that. But it was an experience for me because I got to see all these players like Cam Newton, DeMarco Murray, Mark Ingram, all these boys who I was watching. So I got to watch them up close and interact with them. And really, that was a time where I felt like, dang, I'm in the league right now. This is basically me in the NFL. I was on the sideline watching the 40 and I had guys from NFL Access coming and interviewing me, asking why I wasn't working out and all that stuff. But, I just had a nagging hamstring injury. But that whole process is crazy, man, because they have you don't get no sleep. You just in there interviewing and signing cards and all that good stuff, and you got to go out and work out. So it's like they set you up for failure. That's what it felt like. But it was a crazy experience because I grew up watching the combine as a kid. Like me and my boys would be at the crib in February. I believe it's every February, March, something like that. And we always be watching it. And I was like, damn, bro, I'm gonna be on that, one day. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to actually compete and work out. But just being there, it was surreal, man. I was like, dang, like I'm really in this. You know what I'm saying?
So, do you think not working out at the combine, do you think that hurt your draft stock at all?
It kind of did because that was an opportunity for me to show. I was a big bad, but I had great feet and I can run routes like a cat. So I wanted to put that on display and just have an opportunity for people at home to watch me. On the combine and for anybody like all the kids and everything. That was an opportunity for them to watch. And you never know, that could have triggered something for them to be like, I want to do that too. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how it was for me. But I feel like it hurt me in a sense because I wasn't able to show on a national stage what I can do. And man, I ended up messing up my hamstring even worse, doing training for the combine, and I had to delay my pro day. I had to get PRP injections in my hamstring, and it deformed. I got scar tissue in there, and I ended up tearing it in Miami and it never like healed. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't able to really run how I was, capable of running. So that was tough.
So, did you get an invite to the draft? Like, what they
Yeah,
said?
so yeah, I got an invite. Me and my family went to New York, and my college roommate, I ended up taking him there. That was a crazy experience too, man. Just being in New York, doing all the festivities, and really just going out clubbing in New York, partying after the draft. I don't even remember too much. Still, I just remember getting a call. Originally I thought I was going to New England and like pick 32. You know what I mean? But they didn't pull it, and then Baltimore ended up calling me saying they were gonna take me. That early on, and then that fell through. So it was just a waiting game, and then Miami ended up trading up. But it was crazy because during training I had a running backs coach, and he didn't. He was like, man, I just hope you don't go to Miami because their coach is gonna end up getting fired. And that's gonna be like a difficult situation for you to walk into because it's gonna be a new staff. And sure enough, man, I got there, and Coach Sprono, he ended up passing away a few years ago, but it was tough, man, just having to deal with all those different coaching staffs and everything. But
Okay, so you were definitely a highly talented recruit coming out of college, man.
hmm
So, what's it like knowing that you're gonna be called early and you're not gonna be one of the guys that's sitting
yeah,
around waiting on a phone call?
yeah, it didn't really hit me. You know what I mean? Like you said, I knew it was coming, but I was just more anxious, like, damn, where I'm gonna fall? Because a lot of teams tell me they're gonna take me here or that. So it was like, am I gonna be in like Baltimore, or there's a chance I can be in Miami? So that process, it was stressful because they change their mind. Every minute there's another player that they're considering taking and everything. So, my agent was there though, so he was keeping in contact with a few of some of his friends were on those staffs, so that they would give him little nuggets here and there. But You know, like you said, I knew I was gonna get drafted. It was just a matter of when. And when I didn't get drafted in that first round, I was, kind of disappointed because I heard there was some rumblings about potentially being drafted in that first round. But I was always hopeful that next day was gonna come early.
Gotcha. Okay, so once you got drafted, you were drafted at a time when the NFL and the NFLPA
Yeah, for sure.
were trying to come up with a new deal, man.
Right.
So how did that situation go?
Yeah. So for me, I was working out. I was living in Miami at the time, and we didn't know when the lockout was going to end. So I was really just enjoying my time. Got a new bag. You know what I mean? Got some money in your pocket. And you living down south. So I was migrating between Miami and Hilliard. I'm still a homebody, so I'll be home with my family. Working out and everything. But I was really just trying to enjoy it because I know at some time it was going to end and we was going to be locked in, ready, to work. And I didn't know what to expect from the NFL. So I was just trying to enjoy my free time. And then, once it lifted, it was like, it was crazy. It was, it was a lot. It was a lot to handle that first, the first few months or whatever. But yeah.
So you started talking about money, man, and what we like to do in creative moments, we like to pocket watch, man. What was that first NFL check looking like, man?
That first check,
for a second round pick, man. We got
it was crazy. I know my bonus was like 1.5. You know what I mean?
Wait, 1.5 what?
Yeah, it's 1.5. Yeah. But you gotta pay your agent and all that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do a little thing with that. But before that, man, I didn't really make no big purchases. Wait a second, I lied. So before that, me and my homeboy Raheem Moore, who I played against at UCLA, we ended up being roommates, and we were down south training. I was in Miami training for the NFL, so before I even was drafted in Miami, I was already down there, so I'm familiar with everything. You know what I'm saying? We partying and everything. We everywhere. You know what I mean? So what we did was, in one day, probably spent like 100,000 on just jewelry. You know what I'm saying? Just chains, watches, rings. Bought my mom's them some stuff. My brother them some pieces. Cause they don't charge you right up front. Like just pay me back. Once you get it rolling. So that was my thing. And I used to watch. I used to look at Lil Wayne all the time. You know what I'm saying? He used to rock all the chains. I'm like, bro, when I get, what I'm saying? When I make it, I'm gonna get me one of them chains. Man, I went and got about 4, 5 chains, earrings, bracelets. You know what I'm saying? So that's really what I spent my money on. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, but I didn't really make any big purchases. But my bonus was like 1.5. But that ain't really, what I mean? Once you in the locker room, you looking at like Carlos Danza, he getting a check for 10 million right there in one sitting. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't really even be looking at it. I look around, I have a check for like 80,000, and you don't even care. You care, but it's like it's just regular. You know what I'm saying? Until you in the real world, and you know what I'm saying, you ain't really getting no chunks like that. You don't really understand what's going on, but that's just how it was.
So how much tax did they take out of that first check? It was about 40%, wasn't it?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, they definitely, they're gonna tax you. And then you got your other fees, agents, and then I was flying to New York, getting rehab, and those little things that come out of that. Guys think you just finna get all this money, but there's certain people you gotta pay. You know what I'm saying? And because we ended up taking out a loan and all that good stuff because the draft, not the draft, but the lockout was in there, so we didn't know what was gonna work. And I signed, but the money wasn't there yet, so we ended up taking out, like a loan for like 100,000 just to, smooth everything out until the lockout was lifted. So, but yeah, just being in Miami, man, you guys spend so much money in the club. You go out to the club, your boy don't spend 30,000 in one sitting. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. But
so, did you get a Madden check, man?
Did I get a Madden? I definitely got a Madden check. Now, which Madden check you talking about?
Wait, it's multiple Madden checks?
Well, there was a check we would get every year, just off the humbug for like 10 bands. Everybody called it a Madden check. I don't know what it was for though. You know what I'm saying? I know it was something, but everybody like, hey, we finna get the Madden checks today. Yeah. Every year, so you know what I'm saying? So we'll get one of those. So
what's the other Madden check?
You talking about for the game or what? So I didn't get one from like just from being on the game and nothing like that.
Okay, so I didn't know it was different kind of Madden checks.
Yeah, that's just the terminology. You know what I'm saying? Every year, like before like OTAs and all that good stuff, we just get a check. I don't know if it's from Madden or what. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we just get a check for like 10 bands, some shit like that. You know what I mean?
So what you did with that check? Went and bought another chain?
For that, I'll just blow that one. You know, we just go out, just buy something for my homeboy or something. I ain't even gonna lie to you. We just blow that one straight up. I'm like, man, it's 10 band. I'm just going to blow this little piece. But yeah.
Okay. So, questions. Boom, right back. Okay. So, man, you played with some dogs when you was in Miami, man.
Definitely.
You was out there with Reggie Bush,
Yeah, for sure.
Ryan Tannehill, Brian Hartline, Mike Pouncey, Randy Starks, Cameron Wake, one of my favorite
For
players.
sure, yeah.
Carlos Dansby, Nolan Carroll, he in Jacksonville.
Yeah,
he
Nolan.
coaching at JA,
Right.
man.
Yeah.
Rashad Jones.
Yeah.
Jabbar Gaffney, man. He was another Jacksonville.
Man, yeah,
dude,
Jabbar was
man.
cool, yeah.
Yeah, man. So, what was your welcome to the NFL moment?
My welcome to the NFL moment. Man. It's a few, man. I would say week 1 for me. You know what I mean? Week 1 we playing Houston. And JJ Watt, it's his rookie year too. So I got at the time I'm wearing contacts. After that I got LASIK surgery so I won't have to go through all that. But my first game we playing Houston and we run like an outside zone play to the left. And I get it, you know what I'm saying? I'm pressing the line of scrimmage. I end up cutting it back and JJ Watt right there. So I met him just head on. I don't see him. I make the cutback move and he literally right there waiting on me. Run through me, knock my contacts out. My head is like smashed in the ground. You know what I mean? Like my face mask is dirt all in it. Like my face mask is bent up a little bit, but that was definitely like my welcome to the NFL moment. Cause you know I couldn't see the hit. You know what I mean? I'm just running my outside zone play and I cut it back and you know JJ Watt 6'6". You know he a rookie at the time, but that's JJ Watt. You know what I mean? I run right into him and knock my contacts out and I end up getting surgery after that. So that was definitely my welcome to the NFL moment.
Hey man, JJ Watt bench up, man. That's JJ Watt full of piss and vinegar.
Yeah,
man.
you
That's
know what I'm saying? Like,
JJ
you know what I
Watt.
mean? Yeah, that's real. You know, you real deal at that time. But it was so many moments, man, that happened playing, especially running back. You know, with pass protection, you got to man up and block 250-pound dudes coming through the A gap. You got to man up and meet them there. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're gonna get ran through, and that's on film. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some, but you know that's just one of the many moments.
So what was that moment that made you feel like, all right, man, I can do this shit?
I would say the first game, man, I ended up rushing for 100 yards, literally the first game. And then the next game, I rushed like 95 yards. So I'm feeling good. I'm like, bro, this is like college. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling good. And then I end up pulling my hamstring or tearing it in a practice. That following week, we getting ready to play San Diego. And, you know, Jason Taylor, I played with Jason Taylor. That's how old I am. You know what I'm saying? That was his last year, his farewell, like, tour thing or whatever. He's like, man, like, you a vet now, but this is like week 3. He's like, you got to start practicing like a vet. You don't got to go full speed. You don't have to go all out. Just make it look good, get the ill spots, and shut it down. Because, you know, I was doing my thing early on, and then I ended up tearing my hamstring, and, man, it never really fully, you know, repaired from there. And that caused all kind of mental stress and issues, you know. But,
That's crazy, man.
yeah, no doubt.
That's crazy, man. You played with another legend, man. I ain't even mentioned
Oh, yeah, Jason Taylor, yeah.
Jason Taylor.
For sure.
Bad, man.
Yeah, Reggie Bush was on another level, though, man, because I watched him in high school. I was in high school watching him in the national championship. Like, he the coldest thing ever. So when he went there, you know, South Miami was in a frenzy when Reggie Bush came. You know what I'm saying? You know, he got the Kardashian junk on lock. You know what I mean? It's just Reggie Bush. So being able to play with him, see how he worked, and just seeing it up close. You know what I'm saying? It was different, bro. He was a different type of player. Cool dude too. You know.
Gotcha. Okay, so let me ask you a couple questions about what's going on in the NFL right now. So back when you played, man, running back was still one of the marquee positions.
For
Like
sure.
you had to have you a good running back
For
back
sure.
then, man. And
Yeah.
now it's like the running back position is being how can I put it? Downplayed or
For sure.
underpaid now.
Yeah.
Now right now, Saquon Barkley is about to hold out on the Jets.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook can't seem to find a spot after 4,000
Right.
yard seasons back to back.
Crazy.
What are your thoughts on the situation of the running back position being devalued?
Yeah, it's unreal because those guys, you take Saquon off of the Giants from a running game perspective, who you got? You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of production you losing. But at the end, at the same time, like I get it. You know what I'm saying? You can get two undrafted guys to duplicate that production at a cheaper price. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's all business. You know, it ain't nothing personal, but it just it sucked for the running back because you know what I'm saying. They're such a vital part of the game. They just overlooked now. You know what I mean? If you're not like even when they're here, they're talking about releasing him. You know what I mean? It's just you can get a lot of these younger guys at lesser value, lesser money, and still get that production. You can get two guys and smash out 1,800 yards, you know, and 20 touchdowns, or you know what I'm saying. So it makes sense from a cap standpoint, you know what I mean. But it just sucked for the running back, and that's something I experienced too. Like my last year in Miami, I was due to make like $1 million, and they ended up releasing me and signing two undrafted guys who contracts totaled what I was due to make. But then they end up bringing me back at a lesser, you know, salary. I was like, bro. And then they put me back right in the rotation. I'm like, bro, what is this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all knocked my pay down, then signed me back, and really throw me right back where I was. Like, nothing changed. And the rest of the other guys on the practice squad, you know what I mean? So, business side of it, man, it's crazy. That's why you got to be educated. You got to make smart moves with your money, you know what I mean? Because you want to play away from being done, you know what I mean? You looking at Dalvin Cook and Saquon, they don't want to pay these guys, you know what I'm saying? And they generating all this revenue for the team, and, you know, that's the reason why the Giants were what they were last year, because of the running game, you know?
So, if you don't mind me asking, man, if it's too personal, how many surgeries did you have over your career, man?
Surgeries, I should have had a lot more, you know what I mean? But I ended up having one, just some meniscus that I ended up injuring against the Jaguars. But I had 4 concussions. Probably had more. I didn't report a few, you know what I'm saying? I had the AC joint, grade 3 sprain, the hamstring. I tore ligaments in my ankle where I was supposed to have surgery, but the doctors, you know, they were like, if you can play through it, you know, play through it. You know, we need you to make this playoff run, you know, and I ended up not getting surgery. I just got shot up, you know what I mean? And that was really it. I just had a lot of concussions, man. That was the biggest thing.
So, would you get shot up, or was it
I tore it all. I had to because I could barely walk on my ankle, but you know they shot me up before the Pittsburgh game. It was a key game, man. We needed to win 2 out of our last 3 games. We ended up winning that game. I ended up rushing for 100 yards, and then after that I could barely walk. Like I couldn't walk, man, because the shot wore off, and I was supposed to have surgery. I was supposed to be out for the season, but I ended up just playing anyway because we were trying to make that run. And then we ended up losing to the Jets the last game of the season. And had we won, we would have went to the playoffs. But, you know, I ended up screwing myself, man, because I wasn't healthy. And I'm putting bad tape on film. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to do right for the team. But, you know, the team don't really care about you. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's just one of those things. It was a learning experience.
Okay. So, do you think the amount of injuries that the average running back sustains, do you think that's helping with the evaluation that they're having right now?
Most definitely. I mean, guys they get banged up so much because you get hit every play. You know what I mean? You either toting the rock or you in pass pro. You got to block. You got to take on these big guys in the A gap. You know, on the edge you got to block. So them hits add up. You know what I'm saying? And guys are more stronger than ever. They faster than ever now. So their contact is a lot more thorough. You know what I mean? And some of these guys getting all these carries, and those carries add up. You look at Zeke. You know, they pounded him 300, 400 carries, and, you know, you see him now, he lost his burst, he lost his explosiveness because that wear and tear, you know, and then they just throw him away like he ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because they done got what they wanted out of him. He got his money. You know what I mean? But they got what they wanted out of him too. So, you know, the running back spot is tough. But you know, one of these young guys gonna have to reset the market. You know, one of these guys that just got drafted, they gonna have to show them that they more than just a running back, and they just gonna have to reset the market. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, dudes like you is one of the reasons why that jersey right there on the wall say 95 on it and not 55 or something. That's why I played.
Yeah.
Every play heard that linebacker.
Man, I'm telling you.
Linebacker, one spring, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was good. I could make the tackles, but after practice, boy, I used to be.
Hey. Especially linebacker, that's a whole nother ball game right there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You got dudes like you, man, just running motherfuckers over.
Hey, look. Man, that's the last thing I'm trying to do sometimes. I'm like, man, I ain't trying to get down low like that, man. You know? Yeah, these hits adding up.
Most definitely. So, in the league right now, a lot of different players are getting suspended for gambling.
Right.
Do you think that NFL players should be able to gamble on games?
I mean, why not? I never done it. I'm not really into it, but I mean, why not? I mean, another way to make some bread, I mean, I don't see what the big deal is. Now, if you point shaving, you doing all this other stuff, you know what I mean? You taking players off, you know what I mean, to win the parlay or whatever it is, that's a different story. But better yet, let your brothers handle all that, you know what I'm saying? Let your family do all that. You ain't really got to be the face of it. You do it the right way, you know what I mean? You'll be all right, but I don't see no issue with it, but it is what it is.
Okay. So, craziest NFL story you have?
Crazy NFL story? Whew. Crazy NFL story. Got a few. I would say, dang, bro. The craziest thing for me, all right, so they filming Hard Knocks, Hard Knocks, the series they're doing for the HBO series. And we did it 2012, my second year in the NFL. Man, I'm having a rough week. Like, I'm not feeling nothing. I'm like, borderline, like, bro, I don't want to play no more. Like, straight up. I ended up missing workouts. I didn't have my tie for the team plane. I'm late for the team plane. The plane is waiting for me to get on to go to Carolina. We playing in the preseason. So that was awkward, man. Just getting there and having to walk past all the coaches and the administrators. You late for the plane. It's like, bro, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? Everybody on the back like clapping and clowning me and all that good stuff. But after that, I had to go on the Hard Knock show for having that week where I missed workouts. I was late for the plane. So coach like, hey, I'm just letting you know that the camera's in here, bro, and coach finna get on your ass. You know what I mean? Finna get on you for having a bad week or whatever. So just being put on Front Street, you know what I mean, on a Hard Knock show and have my peoples watching it and all that good stuff. But that was just a crazy week for me, just being late for the plane, bro. Like, I don't know if you understand, like, being in the NFL and them having a plane, just sitting there and you late for the plane for, like, to take off and play a game. Like, that's next level, like, uncomfortable. And that was crazy for me. You know what I'm saying? Just from a player standpoint of just not handling business, that was crazy. You know what I mean? But also the bullying scandal, you know what I'm saying, in Miami with Richard Incognito and Jonathan Martin, you know what I mean, because, we all went out together. We went to the strip club together, I'll be in there with Richie and Jonathan Martin. We on girls together. So just seeing how all that happened, with him getting bullied and having to bring in money for the offensive line and just having a breakdown, that was crazy. Being in the NFL, you getting bullied, and we getting investigated by the FBI. We all meeting with them, just trying to figure out what happened. And it's like, that was crazy.
So with the bullying situation, was that because I remember hearing something about it, and I was watching ESPN and I seen like one of the texts that Richie sent John. Was that something like Like, cause you know how guys are that
Yeah.
play football.
I mean,
We
Richie.
say some goofy shit. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
But Richie, he was that. You know what I'm saying? He was a. I don't want to cuss on your pod.
You
You know what I'm
good,
saying?
man.
He was an a-hole. You know what I'm saying? But he wasn't racist enough. Like at least from me saying it. You know what I mean? He just he on everybody. He talking big to everybody. You know what I'm saying? And John DeMar just couldn't take it. And how it happened, bro? They was all just in the cafeteria eating. Like one night we had a night practice, and we playing Cincinnati, I think, one week, and something like they were all sitting down eating, and Jonathan Martin was walking over there with his tray, and they all got up and walked, got up and just left, and he was just sitting there, and then something happened, and I was in my locker, just messing around before practice on my phone, and his locker was close to me, so he went in and got his stuff and walked and got his stuff and left and never came back. Next thing you know what I mean, we investigated. This is a big thing on ESPN about him being bullied and all that. So it was just crazy. It's like, how this happening in the NFL, bro? Like, you know what I mean?
So, what's it like having hard knocks in the building, man?
It's crazy because you can be hanging out in your locker, you know, talking with your homeboys, talking about what you just did the night before or what's going on, and they just pop up with the cameras and all the other stuff. Just without no warning, just all in your business. Like, dang, bro, y'all, you know what I'm saying? We having a conversation right now, but it was crazy, bro. They everywhere. You know, it was a good little gig though. But for me, getting in trouble and having to be on TV for that was crazy for me. But you know, I grew up watching Hard Knocks, so to have on there was like, it was crazy.
So, do you get paid for being on Hard Knocks? Do you guys get extra pay for being on Hard Knocks?
Nah, yeah, ain't no extra pay. I mean, more than anything, I just publicity. If anything, you know what I'm saying?
So, what made you want to hang up the cleats, man?
Man, truth be told, man, early on, you know, when you get there, the veterans tell you, hey man, don't hit that rookie wall. You know what I mean? I'm like, what you talking about? Like, it's just a stage where you hit where it's just caving in. You know what I mean? You don't know what's going on. You know how to control it. It's getting the most of you. You know what I'm saying? From an emotional standpoint, you just all over the place. After I got injured, after like balling out early on, you know what I mean? I wasn't really myself no more. And damn, I forgot what you had asked, bro.
What made you want to hang up the cleats?
Yeah, so early on, bro, I was like, man, I don't really want to play no more. Like, we here one. You know what I'm saying? I just had them thoughts. Like, when I got there, it was like, all right, I'm here now. Like, what else? I always knew I was going to make it to the league, but after that, I didn't know, like, what else was going to happen. I just knew I was going to make it, but I just fell out of love with the game, like, honestly. You know, I had a lot of injuries, but my heart wasn't in it from the jump. You know, I was burned out from the combine, from sitting out, from college and all that other stuff. You know, mentally I wasn't prepared for it, you know, especially after I got hurt and everything. I was just going through the motions, man. I wasn't working out, watching film. You know, I wasn't being a professional because my heart wasn't in it. You know what I mean? So I'm giving half effort on everything. So, you know, it got to a point to I ended up going to Chicago, playing for Adam Gase and Fox. Man, I had like a breakdown there, and this is an opportunity for me to, you know, get away from Miami, have a fresh start. And you know, I'm balling out. I come in, it's like the sixth running back, and I work my way up into like the rotation is me, Matt Forte, and Jacquizz Rogers, and they end up drafting the guy. So I'm working my way up, just balling out, and I end up getting hurt in the preseason against Miami. And I get in my head, bro, I'm like, man, I've been working hard, you know what I'm saying, things coming together. Then I get hurt, and you know, same old stuff. You know what I mean? Another injury, so I already know how they're gonna be looking at me. He injured again, you know what I'm saying? He injury prone, we gonna get him up on out of here. So that got the best of me, you know what I mean? I ended up like trying to quit, but like the coaches, bro, like they wasn't had it. Like, man, you balling out, like what you doing? Like you need to just take a minute, you know what I mean, and get your thoughts together, you know, and go get treatment and all that good stuff. And you know, they ended up letting me go after that because, bro, I was not in a good space. But Adam Gase, he got the job in Miami and ended up signing me back. You know what I mean? He like really liked me. He rocked with me. So he gave me another shot. But man, at the time, bro, I was out of it. You know what I mean? I was out of it early. You know, it just wasn't for me. But you know, I know I was there to get those experiences for later on in life, and that's what I got. You know, I was mindful of everything that was going on. You know, and I try to implement that into what I'm doing now and with the kids I'm working with. Just let them know, bro, you got to be locked in with the NFL. Like you can't play with 1 foot in, 1 foot out, because these boys is really, this is their job and this is what they love to do. And if you don't love it, you're not gonna last. That's really why I played 4 years. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just burned out, man, and just lost love of the game. And just injuries. I even went to Canada. After that, it was like I didn't want to play football, but I'm like, all right, I'll go. Just give it a shot. I went, got another concussion. Them boys is hungry out there. You know what I'm saying? The boys, it was crazy. It was really crazy because the boys was, they trying to get to the league, and I'm just over there nonchalant. You know what I mean? You're not getting paid. They practicing like 3 hours. I'm like, bro, this is not it. You ain't getting paid, and it's like, I don't know when the meeting's occurring. I'm walking in, they already have the meeting. I'm like, bro, when they say we had a meeting, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, this ain't for me. I end up getting a concussion. I called my agent. I'm like, bro, I need to get back to Miami. Like, this ain't, I think I'm done for sure now. You know what I'm saying? But there's just a lot of in-between things. Just from a mental standpoint, I wasn't as hungry as I was, when I left Hilliard and I went to JUCO and K-State, so that was the biggest thing, though.
So when you first got to the league and you started to feel like, okay, I don't know if I want to do this anymore, was there a feeling of like obligation of, damn man, I put in so much work, I gotta keep going?
Bro, it didn't even hit me. I just wanted out. I didn't care about the money. I didn't care about none of that. It was just, I want out. And to keep it real with you, like when I was telling you about the Hard Knocks thing, when I was late for the plane, I was debating if I should go. And I ain't never really tell nobody. I was like, do I really want to go? You know what I'm saying? I was just in a bad spot. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, there was no mental health awareness. I'm like, bro, who I'm going to talk to? Like, who I'm going to open up to? You know what I'm saying? I don't feel comfortable. So I don't even know what's going on. I just feel crazy. I feel like I don't want to play. On the game day, I'm just nonchalant. I got no energy, no passion. You can see it in my play. Like, I'm just out there. Like, you watch our game, you'll see me, no emotion, nothing. You know what I mean? I just wanted to get out of there and really party it probably. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get back in and see what's going on. My mindset was it was a little different.
So do you think the partying and the Miami lifestyle, do you think that contributed to you not to want to play anymore, or do you think
I ain't gonna lie, man. It was just I wanted to just be free. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted my cake and I wanted to eat it too. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. And that lifestyle is crazy, man. All the girls, you get all the girls you want because you playing, all that stuff. But it was just, I just didn't feel like Miami was a place for me. But on top of that, like, I just didn't want to play, It was just a mental battle.
So what made you want to transition into coaching?
Man, just those experiences. After, I played from Canada, man, I had a number of different jobs just trying to figure out, my niche. Like, bro, okay, what I'm going to do? You know what I mean? I know football is not it, you know what I mean? I didn't really have, like, a set plan. I know it was going to be something in regards to, like, athletics, but, man, I ended up working for a sports agency, working with high school kids, international students, helping them get to college. Working on business stuff, you know what I mean? And I work in the juvenile justice system, working with sex offenders, mentoring them, coaching them, you know what I mean? So I was able to like study like habits with kids and just body language and all that. And, I did like seasonal coaching jobs in Massachusetts, working with kids there. And those jobs just happened like organically, you know what I'm saying? And when I look back, it's like, dang, like all those jobs, like they meant something, you know what I'm saying? They prepared me for like coaching football and being a head coach, you know what I'm saying? just working with those kids, I didn't understand at the time. Just all those jobs, I learned something from each one of those jobs, and now I just apply to that. But I never knew that it's gonna come this soon. Just being a high school coach, especially where I played at, because I figured I'd go coach in college first. But I got a crazy relationship with those kids. I train them. I work with them, so it made sense. And that's really how I got into it.
Do you have the same passion on the sideline as you did when you were on the field?
Well, it's different. What I mean? I have more excitement and more like joy now. When I play, because I wasn't a player that was big talk or whatever. But playing with my kids or coaching my kids, who I see grow up, over the last few years, it's a certain level of passion that I show with them. Cause and I played with their dads and stuff like that, so it's different. You know what I mean? So when I look at them, I see some of them same traits that they people had. So it's a different level of like enthusiasm. You know what I'm saying? That I show with them that I wasn't able to show when I was playing, cause I was just playing to play at one point, and it wasn't like fun. But it's coaching is actually fun. You know what I'm saying? It's fun watching them grow and watching them develop and seeing where their game gonna go at. And they chasing the same dreams I had, been at the same school that I was at. They got the same goals. So I just want to help them reach them goals. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. So, if you could go back and do anything differently, whether it just be in life or your whole career,
Yeah.
what would it be?
I would say I wouldn't change anything, but I would just be more aggressive and more fearless. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I felt like I had all the intangibles I needed. Just go harder. You know what I'm saying? Have faith, more faith and confidence in yourself. You know what I mean? Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Just having faith in yourself and your skills and everything. So I would just tell myself to do that and just have more, you know what I'm saying, more drive. Just be more fearless, man. That's really it.
If you could say anything to 16, 17, 18-year-old Daniel, what would it be?
Man, I would say, man, go harder, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes, we think we going hard, but there's another notch you can go. And I figured that out when I left Hilliard. I was like, dang, I thought all this time that I was playing hard, I was going hard, but I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It's a certain level you can take it to. And that's what I tell them kids out there. It's like, y'all think y'all going hard. Y'all really not, though. It's another level you can take it. You know what I mean? I figured that out once I got around another bunch of athletes than myself that was more superior than me. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, go hard. You got to go hard, bro. So I would just say, go harder, man. Be a beast. You know what I'm saying?
Well, is my last thing, man.
Okay.
Is there anything that you would like to promote or get off your chest before we finish up?
I would say, man, obviously, this is my first season as a head coach at Hilliard Middle Senior High School. So I would just say for everybody that's watching, just tune in to our season and my boys as they, try to take their game to the next level and do something that hasn't been done, because we're going to be a great team. So, I'll just say, just keep an eye on, Hilliard as we go forward and we, enter this tenure with me as a coach.
Gotcha, man. Well, thank you so much for coming
Appreciate
through, man. I'm going to let y'all
man.
know right now again, man. This is one of my favorite interviews. Listen, I done ran for so many yards for this man right here on this game right here, man.
Man, I'm out there going half speed. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, man, we appreciate you for coming through, man.
Appreciate
it was another
you.
Creative Moments interview with Daniel Thomas, man.
Appreciate you.
Thank you, my brother.
Yes, sir.